All right, ladies and gentlemen, guys, I'd like to welcome you to the show. This is your host of the evening, DJJustJayOK. This is what we're here to talk about. This little girl that is on the right hand of my screen right there, and it is a tragic story to have to report, and I'm going to tell you guys something. The reason why this bothered me even more, there was not one single news story, and I have been looking since yesterday. I was going to do the show last night, but I wanted to wait. I wanted to make sure that I didn't get you guys in the middle of the night trying to watch a show. But there were zero videos, not even local news, talked about this particular story. When it pulled up, I could not find a single story done about this little girl. And I think it's sad. But here we go. This is the story. This is the official story. And you guys are going to see the house that this little 2-year-old girl was living in. You're going to see how bad it looks from the outside. I don't even want y'all to have to think about what it looks like on the inside. So here we go. There was a 2-year-old girl wounded inside, or excuse me, there was a 2-year-old girl wounded in a shooting inside a home in Gary's Midtown section that died late Tuesday, police said. And Gary is Gary, Indiana, by the way. The girl was identified as Jayla Miller of the 700 block of Madison Street in Gary, in the that's the Cook County Medical Examiner's office, and they reported that on Wednesday. Okay. Now, officers took the girl's 22-year-old mother, and I'm gonna let you guys see her picture here in just a moment. Let me see if I can get that up here real quick. That was the house, by the way. Y'all are gonna love watching those pictures scroll. That's the little girl right there. Let's see if I can get a picture of her. If you call this person a human being, that's the mom right there. All right. You remember this story? Well, I haven't seen this story before, so this is new to me, and it happened not that long ago. Okay, so here we go. Now, officers took the girl's 22-year-old mother. She does not look like she's 22. She looks like she's like 52 or 62. I mean, I'm just being real honest. I'm not trying to be mean about the way that she looks, but that little girl right there did not stand a chance, you know. So shout out to, you know, the deceased, Jayla Miller. She didn't stand a chance. And I keep telling you guys, it is not the government's responsibility. It is nobody else's responsibility except the mother and the father to take care of these kids. So when these type of things keep happening, we're going to speak harshly about the parents that do it, that are responsible. Now, officers took the 22-year-old mother and her mother's boyfriend, not the kid's father. Hashtag, where's the father? Hashtag, where's the father? So the other person that was taken into custody was this woman's boyfriend. And I want you guys to look at the house that they lived in. And I know it's jumping a little bit. It'll do that. See if I can get that house back up on the picture for you guys real quick. That's the outside of it at night. Here it is. Where is it at? There it is, right there. That house looks like it shouldn't even be in existence. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be funny. And I understand that, you know, there are a lot of people that live below the poverty line. I get that. But this is not living. That's not living at all. I'm sorry. It's just not. That's filthy. That's disgusting. It really is. That makes no sense for a person to live in those kind of conditions. So imagine if the outside looks like that. What do you guys think that the inside looks like? And so that they say that this shooting happened at about 6:50 p.m. at the home in the 1700 block of Polk Street, Commander Jack Hamady said. Now, the two remain in custody as of right now. Now, the mother of her boyfriend lived in that home, he said. Police have presented their preliminary findings to the Lake County Prosecutor's Office for review and possible charges. Okay? Now, investigators are also continuing to seek interviews with family members, he said. Now, Hamady declined to comment on the evidence that they had, let me see. Sorry, this thing is scrolling on me. This is Google Chrome doing this to me. Sorry, hold on just a second. Now, Hamady declined to comment on any evidence recovered in the home, citing the ongoing investigation. Now, the circumstances included whether the shooting was accidental or remained under investigation, he said. Now, the girl was initially taken in critical condition to Methodist Hospital's North Lake campus in Gary and later transferred to University of Chicago's Medical Comer Children's Hospital in Chicago, where she ended up dying. That was where she eventually died, so she did not make it. Now, Gary police are working with Cook County Medical Examiner's Office, Hamady said. Now, anyone with the information is asked to call Detective Alex Jones of the Lake County Gary Metro Homicide Unit. Their phone number is 219-755-3855. Now, if you want to remain anonymous, you can call 866-CRIME-GP. So Crime GP. Okay? Now, here's the other portion of the story, and maybe I can give you guys a little bit more that we already haven't discussed. Now, now the mother, her name is Dashana Fowler, as you guys can find in the description box and the title of the show. Now, she cried when she saw 3 young children sitting in the courtroom, and she quoted, "My babies," she mouthed. Fowler, who is age 22, made her formal appearance on Monday morning in Lake Superior Court on charges from the death earlier this month of her 2-year-old daughter, Jayla Miller. And that is actually, that gun right there that you're looking at is the type of gun that the little girl died from, which is a very small gun, actually. Okay? It's a very, very small gun, but nonetheless, it's a gun. Now, Miller died September 4th at Illinois Hospital after she was shot in the head in the 1700 block of Polk Street in Gary, officials said. Now, Fowler was allowed to attend her daughter's funeral Friday, court records show, which I'm not down with that. But maybe they're doing that because of the fact that she hasn't actually been convicted of anything. It's an ongoing investigation. So maybe that makes some type of sense, but I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Now, Fowler was allowed to attend her daughter's funeral, and she pleaded not guilty to 1 count of neglect of a dependent resulting in death, a level 1 felony, and 3 counts of neglect of a dependent, a level 6 felony, court records show. Now, again, based on the evidence that they have, they can't charge her with certain things. Yes, it's a Kel-Tec 380. Thank you very much. They can't charge her with anything more than they feel like they can get her convicted of. Just because it sounds like what she should be convicted of doesn't mean that they can necessarily charge her with that until they have sufficient evidence to prove that point. Okay? Now, Fowler is currently being held on a $150,000 surety or $15,000 cash bond. Gajko Kaish, Fowler's public defender, asked for a bail reduction hearing to be set for September 24th, which was granted. So here in like the next 6 days, they're gonna have that hearing about that. So far, I have not found a GoFundMe. Great question. I love it that you guys pay attention. You know what, MFSVH? I feel you. You're saying that the Kel-Tec was the worst handgun made. It could be just the fact that it's cheap. Because I looked up the brand new prices of that gun, and it was around like the $300 range, brand spanking new, like $325. So I could only assume you probably got a lot less for it when they sold it as used. Based on the conditions that you can see from that photo right there, you look at the truck, you look at the boat, you look at the house, you look at the grass that look like it hasn't been cut in the past 45 years. I'm assuming that they didn't have money to buy a brand new gun, meaning it was probably used. Like who knows? I don't know. I don't know. But I'm definitely calling BS on this. That's definitely, so thank you, Domino. I'm calling BS on this. I think that she killed her daughter personally. Now, here we go. On September 4th, Fowler's boyfriend said he and a man from whom he rented a room went to the store to purchase food and to a gas station, a probable cause affidavit says. Now, when he returned to the house on Polk Street, he yelled for Dashana to come open the door, the affidavit states. And that's her. That's who he was yelling for. As Fowler and her boyfriend were talking, they heard a pop. According to the affidavit, the boyfriend pushed Dashana out of the way and went to the bedroom where he saw Jayla, the affidavit states. Fowler, whom her boyfriend describes as sort of out of it, said she saw her baby injured and ran out of the house and started telling people to call the police, the affidavit says. Now, court records state that Fowler's son was screaming, "My sister, my sister." Keep in mind, there were other kids there inside of this nasty ass house. So let's put this into perspective. That was baby Jayla. You have Dashana. You have her boyfriend. You have 1, 2, 3 other kids there. Plus some dude that is the boyfriend's friend that they allowed to rent a room. I want you guys to put that into perspective. He was paying rent based on what they've given us so far, paying rent to stay. And that, does that make any sense? Paying rent to stay here? I'm going to tell you guys something. When I have to travel and when I have to go to hotel rooms, there are some that I'm just like, you know what? I don't like to see anything on the floor. I don't like to see anything in the tub. I don't like to see a piece of hair laying around. I'm not like the cleanest person on earth. I'm not like that guy. But at the same time, I'm thinking, number one, how many rooms are in this house? It don't look like that, like it's that big, number one. Number two, it don't look like it's that stable. It looks like tree roots are probably growing all up and through that thing. And you're talking about 7 people living under this thing that they call a roof. Are they paying rent here? Do they own it? Do they have a mortgage on this? What do they do for a living? Man, it's just so many questions. I have so many issues with this. I don't know. I'm just completely lost with this, okay? Let me go ahead and continue to tell you guys the rest of the story. Now, police arrived at a house after receiving a 911 call that evening, police said. An officer saw Jayla in the bedroom with blood on the blankets and pillows, the affidavit says. A black and gray semi-automatic handgun, which is the Kel-Tec, was on the bed according to the affidavit. Now, here's where it's going to start to get tricky, so please pay attention, you guys. We got about 120 people watching. Do me a favor when you guys come in, hit the thumbs up. It'll share the show with somebody else and let them know that we are live, okay? If y'all would do that for me, that would be amazing, okay? Police saw what looked like crack cocaine and a razor blade commonly used for cutting crack cocaine in plain view on a dresser in the bedroom. Keep in mind, that critter right there is 22 years old, and she looked like she had been about through 60 years of a hard life. Seriously. That right there. Wait. Let's talk about what Tommy talks about all the time. I want you guys, I'm going to see if I can take a pause for the calls real quick. I want you guys to remember what that house looked like. Y'all remember how broken and nasty that house looked? So my brother Jason, Cole, Megan, Dre, Alex, Love, Mark, Domino, all you guys that are listening to the show, Mo Common Sense, Sonia, I want you guys to look at that, to remember that house, and look at this picture, and you guys tell me what's wrong with this picture besides her hair not being done. What are we missing here? What's the biggest thing that Tommy talks about? Keep in mind, that house looked like that house looks worse than like a crack house. It looks like a bando. It really does. I'm going to see. Love Tash got it. Mimi got it. Dre got it. Darcy Ann got it. Thank you, Zachariah. I want you guys to tell me something. Maybe she's broke. Maybe she's on the system. Maybe she's on welfare. Maybe she don't have resources and funds to be able to pay for basic things. You know, clothing, food, decent shelter. Maybe can't pay $10, $20. I know back in the day when I was like 12 and 13 years old, I was cutting yards for 20 bucks. And that was on the cheap side years ago. She ain't got $20 to go get that yard cut, to go get some simple maintenance. Even if they did that once a year, it wouldn't even look as bad as it looks. But one thing that Tommy talks about all the time, which it sticks out like a sore thumb every time I see it. How can she live in that shitty ass house? How? Thank you, West Coast honey, but she can have money to get her freaking weave done. How's that possible? They got money for cocaine, money for weave. But that house looks the way that it does. And I don't even want to be honest with you, I don't want to know what the inside of it looks like. I'm sure they took pictures on the inside. I don't want to see them. So if you guys end up finding the pictures online, don't send them to me. I don't want to see them. Because I'm pretty sure they got bugs, they've got stains, they've got broken walls, they've got mildew, they probably got just, seriously. I don't want to see their bathtub. Come on, you guys have seen some houses that looked actually a lot nicer than this one did. Where the inside of the house, y'all remember that house that I showed y'all? We'll have to go way back in our videos to look at this video again. Where that house literally had like dog piss and shit everywhere in that house. And the house looked relatively expensive from the outside. So if I had to relate that idea to this situation where you clearly see that they don't care about what the outside looks like, I can only imagine what the inside of this house probably looks like that had this little girl living inside of there. This little girl did not stand a chance against that right there. And what I think happened while this man and the boyfriend and her friend and his friend went to the gas station, I think that she took that gun and killed that little girl. Why? One can only speculate, but if I had to speculate, I would probably say it has something to do with probably the actual DNA birth father of this kid. What y'all want to bet? There has to be something there. Because if you think about it, if I would assume correctly that she did this, and we're assuming, and this is all alleged based on what I think that she had a personal vendetta against this little girl, me personally. None of the other kids were harmed. And on top of that, there's actually some information out about this case, and I don't know that they're going to say it here in a little bit. Actually, it does. So here we go. Here's the rest of the story. Fowler's son said he was sleeping on the bed when Jayla reached under the pillow, grabbed a gun, and shot herself in the head, the affidavit states. I'm going to read this again. Fowler's son said he was sleeping on the bed when Jayla reached under the pillow, grabbed the gun, and shot herself in the head, the affidavit states. First of all, why is the gun in the bedroom? Second of all, why is the gun in the bedroom under the pillow? Third of all, why is the gun in the bedroom under the pillow where the little girl is laying? Fourth of all, why would the little girl all of a sudden reach under the pillow, grab the gun, point it in her face, and shoot herself? To me, even from a 2-year-old that doesn't really know a whole lot, probably not that smart, just doesn't make sense to me. I've been around a lot of 2-year-olds that have done a lot of dumb stuff. To me, that doesn't make any sense at all. But check this out. The boy said his mom told them the gun was a BB gun and that he has seen her boyfriend with a gun before, according to the affidavit. Let's keep going. The detective wrote this: I do not believe that Jayla shot herself, and neither do I. That's the detective saying that. Now, Jayla did not, this is the part that I want you guys to catch. So maybe my brother Jason Gunn or some people, let me see, the little girl should have her own room. Yes, she should, but she also shouldn't be living in squalor like that picture right there. She shouldn't be living in that either. I feel you. I feel you. What's up, Miss Lady T. Sinead? What up? It doesn't sound right. So let me tell you guys this word, because I didn't know what this word meant at first. It's called stipple or stipling. In a drawing, a painting, and engraving, mark a surface with numerous small dots or specks. Produce a decorative effect on paint or other material by roughening its surface when it's wet. So what that basically means is like little dots around. And I'm going to tell you exactly why that comes into play. They said Jayla, the little 2-year-old girl, did not have stipling on her forehead, which meant that the barrel of the gun had to be at least 2 or 3 feet away. Where are my people at that are gun experts? Distance of the gun. Thank you. Sound like someone coached him to say that? Probably. I can agree. So you can tell direction of fire from splatter or damage. Yes, you can. So Steve, if you're telling us that or you're asking us. If you're asking us, I'll say you're 100% correct. Yes, that is the case. If you're telling us, then yes, I'm telling you, my brother, you are 100% right. That close, there should be powder burns. That is exactly correct. So ask yourself this. For a little girl to be 2 years old, and that gun right there, that's why I have those pictures of that gun right there. Imagine how tall, or in this case, how short Jayla Miller is. Imagine how short her reach is. They say that the gun would have to be at least 2 or 3 feet away. Therese R., I agree with what you just said in the chat. I'm not going to repeat what you said. I 100% agree with you. Tommy talks about that a lot. Slow people making slow people. I agree. 2 to 3 feet away. So ask yourself, if that's the story that we're supposed to believe, how did that little girl get that gun to be 2 to 3, maybe more feet, at least 4 feet away, to shoot herself in the face? And there's no stipling. The gunpowder, the burn, the residue, and it was dead center. A dead headshot in the middle of the head. Miss Lady T. Sinead says a 2-year-old's arm is too short for that reach. Now the question remains, who did it? The reason why I tend to question the mother, because you've actually seen too many stories that I've done. So shout out to Ray Vaughn and shout out to Tanasia McLeod and her people. I know y'all watch me from time to time. But even like in that situation, y'all saw where the brother was trying to defend his baby sister, even at his own detriment, against two big old linebackers of women that were living in his house, one being his mother, the other one being a mother's girlfriend. He couldn't do anything to defend himself against them, but he wanted to defend his baby sister. Me personally, I don't see any of these kids, these 3 kids, that would have a vendetta or reason, or even the willpower, even the gall to take a gun and go shoot their little sister in the head. I don't see that happening. But one thing that you do see happening in most of my stories is you see that mothers are claiming that some man pulled up in a white Camry by the name of whatever his name is and asked them if they needed a ride. She got in the car, got knocked out, and got pushed out of a car into a forest, and all of a sudden her son was gone and missing. Come to find out, that whole story was a lie. They turned around and had an entire Amber Alert in Florida. An F Amber Alert or is it FL Flamber Alert. Looking for that little 3-year-old boy, and come to find out his mama killed him and dumped his body in the woods. How many stories have I done just like this, where mothers were mad at the biological father about something, usually about money? Usually, if there's a case where maybe he wanted to take his kid out of that nasty squalor of a house that they call home. Maybe he could have been fighting for custody the same way that Michael Garrett was trying to fight for his daughter, Anaya Day Garrett, when his mother, Sierra Day, killed her 4 days before their court date. All I'm saying is that if in the court system, if you have it to where we use other cases that have been proven in court, what they call case law, and do case studies and say, because of these things, our story matches up with this, then I would have to say all of the stories that I've done matches up with this story. And I say that this mother probably shot that little girl in the head. 4 to 5 feet away, shot her in the head with that gun. And I think that that's what we're going to end up finding out once this story concludes. When we get the actual results, when the police do their due diligence, and we find out that this mother did not neglect this child and this child shot herself in the face. That shit did not happen. That did not happen. Okay? Thank you. Breon brought up some other stories. Thank you very much. Here we go. Jayla did not have stippling on her forehead, which meant the barrel of the gun had to be at least 2 to 3 feet away, the affidavit states. The gunshot wound to Jayla's forehead was, and they quote this, guys, they quote this. I swear they quote this. The gunshot wound to Jayla's forehead was perfectly centered. According to the affidavit. And they quote that word. They highlighted it. Perfectly centered. 2 to 3 feet away, perfectly centered. It would have been difficult for a 2-year-old child to pull the trigger of the gun, which was a .32 caliber Kel-Tec, affidavits state. Fowler's boyfriend has not been charged in the case as of Monday, according to court records, but the felony count of neglect of a dependent resulting in the death that Fowler faces carries a prison sentence of 20 to 40 years upon conviction. I want you to think about that. The felony count of neglect could lead to 20 to 40 years upon conviction. We've seen a lot of cases of a few of the stories that I've done where the mothers didn't get nowhere close to 20 to 40 years of time for murder, for first degree murder, for manslaughter, second degree, third degree, any of that. They're just saying that she quote unquote neglected. Okay? Now, the felony count could lead to 20 to 40 years upon conviction. The same charge has been filed in the deaths of at least 10 children in Lake and Porter counties over the past 2 years. Three other children besides Jayla were at the house during the shooting, resulting in 3 additional neglect charges, according to police. Now, what I would like to know is what the other children have to say about that. I definitely think that this thing needs to go to trial. I definitely think that they need to push it as far as they possibly can. You know, don't agree to no deals. I want to see this thing go to trial. I definitely want to see what evidence that the state finds. Yeah, I bet you that house is probably just sickening. It's sickening just looking at it. I wouldn't even want to drive by that house, let alone walk in it. I don't understand what is going on with parents when you have these precious little faces. Let's pause it right there. I try not to be, too negative, too sad. I don't want you guys to be feeling bad or anything like that, but I just want to encourage you guys to think a little bit before we wrap this up. I don't know when her actual arraignment is, but I know that they have a hearing scheduled for 6 days from now. And I think that has something to do with the bail, if I'm not mistaken. I might have to pull up my my other article to find it. But I want you guys to look at this face right here. Look at that face right there. And I want you guys to tell me, what could this little girl have done to deserve what she got? She got shot in the head by someone, and I personally believe that it was the mother that did it. And I'm gonna say this. For anybody out there that doesn't understand, and for everybody that wants to leave me all of these comments in my comments section and tell me that my perspective is wrong, they want to tell me I'm being too harsh on the mothers. They want to tell me all of these different things. Well, white people do it too, and all of this stuff, okay? I would say to you guys, I have the right to my free speech. Let me do what I do. Don't stop me. Don't flag me. Just don't follow my page. It's simple. You don't have to type in the soda you dig. You don't have to watch any of my videos. But one thing I'm going to continue to do is I'm going to continue to quote unquote bash or talk down and negative about people that don't care about little faces like this one. Jayla Miller, age 2. Beautiful little girl. She's at the age where you could mold this little girl into being anything. You can mold her into speaking properly. You can mold her into being intelligent. You can mold her into being a star athlete. You can mold her into being an intellect, into anything. This could be someone that contributes to the world. It bothers me and it hurts me when I see that we rob innocent children of any opportunity to even grow up and see what they might be. We didn't wear a condom. We didn't use contraceptives. We didn't think about abortion. We didn't think about adoption. There's all of these things we just did not do. Well, that person is here now. If we go through all of the gauntlet and avoid all of the ways of bringing children into this world and we end up getting them here, then it is our God-given responsibility, not the government's responsibility. Government ain't your God. It is the mother and the father's God-given responsibility together, not separately, together, to make sure that faces like this and faces like these children all over the world that deserve a chance, at least deserve a chance to grow up and produce for their own selves, to learn for themselves, to triumph and fail for themselves. It is our responsibility as parents to make sure that they have every opportunity to get to the point to where they can be self-sufficient and not rob them because of our personal feelings and our selfish feelings. I would much rather see this little girl in DHS custody. I'd much rather see this girl being given an opportunity to be with her biological father. Maybe someone in the family might have taken her. But in my opinion, there's nothing bad enough. There's nothing bad enough that a face like this could have done to deserve what she got. And I think that's insane. You know, it breaks my heart. But at the same time, that's also why I continue to do what I do. Because when I see those children, I think that's why when 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds see me, like they're drawn to me. They love me. I was in a restaurant, what was it, Saturday or Sunday? This little boy kept looking at me, kept trying to get my attention and smiling, and he interacted with me the entire time that I was there. And I just think that it's just one of those things that, you know, I'm just drawn to kids. I think kids are drawn to me. I think that they see that I care. Kids love attention. It's the simplest thing that you can give them. And most people, well, a lot of times, like we've watched plenty of videos that Tommy has done where women will sit on their lives. They will literally sit on live waiting for somebody to say something to them. And got the kids chirping in the background. Mama, look at this. Look at, yeah, I'm busy. And it illustrates how selfish and how messed up we really are as a community, that we bring Jayla Miller into this world. She didn't ask to be here. And I could imagine what she was thinking before whoever took her life, which I think that it was probably her mother, and probably looked at her mother in the eyes, and I hope that it haunts her for the rest of her life, and said, "Mother, why hast thou forsaken me?" I want you guys to think about that. All right. I want to conclude the show and say thank you to you guys for coming through to the show. Like I said, there weren't any videos on this. It really bothered me that no news outlet covered this at all. To me, this is bigger news than anything else, because this stuff affects us every day. This type of thing should not be happening. And I'm a person that is an advocate for children first. And I want to continue to keep encouraging people to do what you can for the people that are around you. You know, you ask my neighbors, you ask my family, you ask my friends. Shout out to my brother Kurt Dog. Shout out to my daughter's mom. Shout out to everybody that knows me and knows how I am and know how my spirit is. This is not something that I just talk about. This is something that I do. This is something that I've lived. I've actually lived to see, kids that I counseled when I used to be a camp counselor, and I've actually lived to see them turn around and get married, and they hired me to be their DJ at their wedding, which I think is pretty freaking awesome. And it makes me feel old too, by the way. You know what I mean? But I think that's an awesome thing to know that I did some amazing things, in my 20s, and, you know, still continuing to have opportunities. And I think the most important thing to do is to continue to make sure that we take advantage of opportunities that we have and do not let these opportunities pass. All right. But again, I want to say thank you guys for coming through to the show. Thank you guys for sharing the links. Thank you guys for the people that watch this on the replay. The biggest thing that you guys can do for me, if we have all of these subscribers and all of these people that know that the videos are there, click the video, hit the thumbs up. Even if you don't have time to watch it, at least do that for me, okay? Because like I said, I know a lot of you guys are busy and stuff like that, but if you would at least do that, that would help me out quite a bit, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and wrap up the show, and I'm going to say thank you to you guys. I do have quite a bit more stories coming for you guys. It's just a matter of when I can actually do it. I'm actually getting ready to go do some work right now, but I am going to cut this out. So I'm going to cut the shout outs off, and I'm going to cut the end portion off, and then I'm going to leave it to just so that this show is all that you see on the replay. So it takes a little bit of time for that to happen. So I would ask that the people that watch this on the replay just